Toxic algae found in Skaneteles Lake, how officials say it will affect the city.
Joe Nicoletti made a major announcement today about his future in the mayoral race.
And how a new Wegman's delivery service is impacting students. CitrusTV News starts right now.
This is Citrus TV News live at 6, your campus news leader.
An algae bloom found in Skaneteles Lake has tested positive for toxic chemicals. Good evening, I'm Mike Riccardi.
And I'm Gilat Melamed. The city of Syracuse draws its drinking water from Skaneteles Lake, but Syracuse Mayor Stephanie Miner says it poses no threat to city residents.
The blue-green algae found in the lake contains nearly 9 times the amount of toxic chemicals that the state considers to be highly toxic. The State Department of Environmental Conservation told the public that ingesting large amounts of it can kill pets and cause liver damage in humans.
Officials ensure that there is no threat to drinking water at this time. They say the algae bloom is near the shore and not near the intake pipes towards the middle of the lake. More tests are being conducted to see if the water supply has been affected. Nearly $25,000 is at the disposal of scientists from SU, SUNY ESF, and Upstate Medical University to study chemical threats to Onondaga Lake. Citrus TV reporter Conor Wight spoke to researchers about the project and what these chemicals mean for local residents.
The chemical DDT was once a major component in widely used pesticides, but was outlawed after studies showed it could have catastrophic environmental effects. Now, pollutants that are potentially more toxic than the banned substance have been found in the bed of Onondaga Lake.
In the 90s, we were finding a couple of unusual chemicals in Onondaga Lake water that at first we couldn't identify. But they were some of the major contaminants in Onondaga Lake.
The chemicals can do extensive harm to organisms they come into contact with.
We developed a system in mice where we could look at exposure. We found that they were much more susceptible to seizures than their cohorts that weren't exposed to the chemicals. So
Researchers warn that fish caught from the lake could pose potential risks to your health.
when humans eat these big fish, they're exposed to relatively high concentrations of these contaminants that are found in our environment. We pretty much conclude that these compounds have the risk of causing developmental effects in not only the organisms that live in the lake, but people around the lake.
So just where do these dangerous substances come from?
We tracked it down to a process that the Solvay Chemical Company, a process that they were running. It was a byproduct of that. They didn't even know what it was. And some of it accidentally got in the lake.
Conor Wight, Citrus TV News.
This is an ongoing research project, and we'll be sure to keep you posted with any new findings.
Common Councilor Joe Nicoletti suspended his mayoral campaign this morning at a press conference. There, he endorsed his opponent, Juanita Perez-Williams, who beat him in the Democratic primary. Nicoletti made the announcement this morning and announced a call for unity amongst the Democratic Party. Perez-Williams will face 2 Republicans and a Green Party candidate in the general election on November 7th. A professor at Syracuse University has entered the race for a seat in Congress in the 2018 election. Dana Balter, an assistant teaching professor at the Maxwell School of Citizenship, became the second Democrat to enter the race. She launched her campaign this past Sunday to challenge Republican John Katko. Balter describes herself as a pragmatic progressive and plans to focus on important policy issues for the people of the district. Balter announced her candidacy while marching in the Westcott Cultural Fair this past Sunday.
We have seen a lot of things happen in the wake of the November election that are very distressing, and I feel strongly that somebody needs to stand up for our community and say no to the dangerous policies that are coming out of this administration.
Last night, a Syracuse police officer watched a Volkswagen sedan drive through a red light. There was a short car chase which led to the vehicle losing control and striking a tree. The driver and passenger were both listed in stable condition after being taken to the Upstate University Hospital by American Medical Response. The driver was charged with multiple vehicle and traffic violations. And 2 men were indicted by a Shenango County grand jury for the death of 11-year-old Jacqueline O'Connor this past July. James Brower and Tobias Runstrom Wooding are accused of causing O'Connor's death in Norwich. They both face a maximum of 25 years to life in prison if convicted. 11-year-old O'Connor was visiting her half-brothers, the sons of James Brower.
The Walktober Kickstart took place today at noon in the Syracuse University Quad. It was a 2-hour event with food, prizes, and free t-shirts where people were given the chance to register for the month-long event. Walktober is a competition that tracks the physical activity of the students, faculty, and staff involved. The online shopping company Instacart is changing the grocery shopping experience, and many Syracuse students are taking advantage of it. CitrusTV reporter Rebekah Castor has the story.
Students can now have groceries delivered right to their door with just the click of a button. The company Instacart is now partnering with Wegmans to offer online delivery.
So I live on South this year, and neither me or my roommate have a car. And so it was just like a big deal, like how we were going to get our groceries, because I know I really like to cook. And so it was just like kind of a little bit stressful as to how I was going to be able to make food for myself every single day. When I figured out that we could order our groceries, it just immediately made everything so much easier, because I could literally do my grocery shopping online, and it was much easier because it was less time consuming, and then they literally just showed up at my door.
Today I got Wegmans delivered to me for the first time. I actually ordered it yesterday, which is one of the cool things about it is you can order it a day in advance and get delivered anytime that day, or you can choose an hour time frame for the next day too. So I chose to get it delivered today, and I just picked it up about an hour ago. One thing that was a little off, I ordered a zucchini and they gave me a squash, but it's no big deal. I'm open to trying new things, but hopefully it doesn't happen again in the future. I think it is a really good option price-wise. Pricing is all the same as it would be in the stores, and then your first time getting it delivered, it's for free.
So far working in customer service for Wegmans, I've heard mostly negative feedback for Instacart because they don't really do much in the process of hiring the people that deliver your food to your house. So we've gotten a lot of complaints that the people are late, or they don't get the food that you asked for, or you're not charged the right way.
Only time will tell if this Wegmans delivery service is too good to be true, but the students I met with definitely recommend it. Rebekah Castor, CitrusTV News.
Sounds like I'm going to have to give it a try. Thanks, Rebekah. Well, it was another hot day in Syracuse, but our eyes are elsewhere.
Maria has officially turned into a Category 4 hurricane, making its way towards Puerto Rico. What's the latest, Jess?
Yeah, so there have been a lot of hurricanes lately, and there's another one brewing out in the Atlantic. Hurricane Maria is now a Category 4 and heading towards the Virgin Islands in Puerto Rico as soon as Wednesday. The Leeward Islands, already battered by Irma, will see tropical storm force winds from Maria and some heavy rainfall. It's too early to tell whether Maria will impact the U.S., but we should know by early next week.
Coming up, protests continue in St. Louis for the third night in a row. Hear what the mayor had to say over the weekend.
Trump is busy this week for the UN General Assembly. Who's he's expected to meet with next?
Taking care of a family member can lead to plenty of questions. Fortunately, there's a place to get the answers, for them and for you. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise and be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it. It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to care of you.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the CitrusTV newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at CitrusTV News, your campus news leader.
Louisiana State University has suspended all Greek life activities after a possible hazing-related death. 18-year-old Maxwell Grover died Thursday morning in what is being called a potential hazing incident at the Phi Delta Theta chapter on campus. All fraternities and sororities have been suspended as the investigation into Grover's death ensues.
In response to President Trump's crackdown on immigration, lawmakers in California passed a sanctuary state bill on Saturday. It protects immigrants without legal U.S. residency. The legislation would limit state and local communication with federal immigration officers. It would also prevent immigration officers from holding and interrogating people on immigration-related violations.
Last night, more than 80 people were arrested as protests continued in the streets of downtown St. Louis. People filled the streets after the acquittal of ex-police officer Jason Stockley. He was on trial for murder and the shooting death of a black man. This morning, protesters were attacking police and breaking windows for the fourth day in a row. St. Louis Mayor Lyda Krewson spoke about the violence.
This is not acceptable. We have work to do here in the city. We need more and better opportunities for all of our citizens, but destruction cannot be tolerated.
President Trump is giving his first address to the U.S. General Assembly tomorrow. In his UN debut earlier today, Trump outlined what changes he believes should be made to the UN. This includes cutting costs in its growing budget and reducing bureaucracy. The president has criticized the organization in the past, but promised the U.S. will be pledge partners with the UN going forward. Expected topics of Trump's Tuesday address include North Korean threats and Iranian-Middle East relations.
London police have arrested a second man in relation to the subway bombing that took place Friday morning. The 21-year-old was arrested in the neighborhood of Hounslow late Saturday night. He currently remains in police custody in London. The Islamic State has since claimed responsibility for the attack that injured 30. Since his arrest, Britain has lowered its terrorism threat level.
One woman and 2 children were killed in a stampede in Myanmar on Friday. This happened as food and clothing were being thrown from relief trucks to Rohingya refugees at the border of Myanmar and Bangladesh. Since late August, over 400,000 refugees have fled Myanmar into Bangladesh to escape violence and persecution.
The United States and Iran continue to argue over nuclear policies at the UN today. As a response to Washington's call for wider nuclear inspections last month, both countries have been working towards a solution to ensure that Iran is not in violation of its nuclear deal with world powers. President Trump has until mid-October to reach a deal. If not, the U.S. could reimpose sanctions on Iran.
From the CitrusTV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Yep, and here's a look at your current temperatures in New York. It's been warm this week, and it looks like that weather is here to stay for a little bit. Syracuse, 85 degrees, Penn Yan, 81, Rochester, 78, Rome, 84, and Binghamton, 82 current temperatures. And then tomorrow, wake-up weather forecast should be 67 degrees in the morning. A light jacket should be pretty good to wear throughout the day. Sunny, no chance of rain. And it should get to about 76 degrees by noon. And by 6 p.m., we'll see the temps in 77. Again, sunny, no chance of rain, really low wind throughout the day. And it should be a pretty good day to go to the beach. Green Lakes is the closest thing we have here, so take a trip out, get out into the city, and your 5-day forecast. Tuesday, we'll see temps in the high 80s, low of 60, sunny. Wednesday, mostly sunny. high of 80, low of 58. And Thursday, high of 81, low of 54, again sunny. And Friday, partly cloudy, high of 81, low of 56. Saturday, again pretty sunny for this week, high of 83 degrees and low of 59.
Jess, you know, I was in shorts and a t-shirt today. Can I be wearing the same thing to class tomorrow?
Exactly, and pretty much for the rest of this week too. It should be pretty great. No chance of rain, no need for that umbrella this week.
Sounds awesome.
I actually want to go out golfing sometime this week before the weather starts to get worse. How's it looking later on?
It's looking pretty good. I think this weekend should be in the highs of 80s again and partly cloudy to a bit sunny.
All right, thanks, Jess.
All right, thanks, Jess. And coming up, the Winter Olympics are just months away, but ticket sales aren't as high as expected.
And a full recap of what you missed at the Emmys last night. We'll be right back.
Big man fingers are having a problem with these little tiny buttons.
Whoa, watch it there. Your blood pressure's gonna go through the roof.
Tell me about it. I'm trying to learn how to get it down. Instead, it keeps going up.
High blood pressure can increase the risk for heart attack or stroke. Learn how to keep yours at a healthy range.
Ever hear a voice command? Just say text barbershop to 97779.
That's not what I said.
Just give me that. Now my blood pressure's up.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the CitrusTV newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at CitrusTV News, your campus news leader.
Governor Cuomo has announced his response to the massive Equifax breach. The governor announced today that he wants all credit agencies to register with the state. This will make sure that their cybersecurity is up to code. Cuomo will also start a criminal investigation on Equifax, who lost millions of users' personal data. And with North Korea's recent increase in missile launches, ticket sales for the 2018 Winter Olympics in South Korea are looking low. Only 20% of the over 200,000 spots have been purchased. The International Olympic Committee has no plan B if tensions with North Korea continue to rise. Event organizers are hoping online ticket sales opening this month will boost purchases.
We've all heard of bad apples, but how about bad papayas? 200 people are sick and 2 have died from a salmonella outbreak caused by Mexican papayas. The CDC says 4 salmonella outbreaks have sickened people in 26 states, including New York. Multiple companies have recalled papayas as the CDC investigation continues. The CDC has also ordered all restaurants and stores to stop selling Mexican Maradol papayas. The rock and roll magazine Rolling Stone is on sale. Co-founder Gon Wenner announced Sunday he believes that selling the 50-year-old company is the smart thing to do. Wenner sold 49% of his stake in the magazine in 2013 to a digital music startup and is now selling his majority stake of 51%. The winners of the 69th Emmy Awards made history last night. Hulu beat out Netflix and HBO to become the first streaming service to win an Emmy for Best Drama for the show The Handmaid's Tale. Lena Waithe became the first African-American woman to win for comedy writing, and Donald Glover became the first African-American to win Best Director in a comedy series. Julia Louis-Dreyfus has won the Emmy for Best Actress in a comedy category for the 6th time in a row for Veep, setting another record.
And on the Hill, SU football looked to rebound after its first loss of the season. Ian McIntyre looked to get his first win against a conference rival, and a familiar face is making news in the NFL. Find out what happened when CitrusTV News Live at 6 continues.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the
And now, your CitrusTV Sports Report.
2 years ago, Eric Dungey made his second career start against Central Michigan and left with a concussion. Now, coming off a loss to Scott Schaefer, SU desperately needed a win, and Eric Dungey did not disappoint. Syracuse early coming out of the tunnel with head coach Dino Babers, but we'll skip ahead 5 minutes in, and Shane Moore's dropping absolute dimes. A 56-yard touchdown pass to Cameron Cole, and he tiptoes into the end zone. 7-3 Central Michigan on top. After an SU pick six, we'll go back to Morris, that time to Jonathan Ward. Little stutter step, and he finds the end zone. 17-10 Central Michigan. On the ensuing kickoff, Sean Riley, you'll be hearing a lot more of him this season. Kickoff return 64 yards, puts SU in great field position. You can't ask much more from your returner. 5:20 now left in the second quarter, and Dungey takes full advantage. An 18-yard touchdown pass to Dante Strickland. Little stutter move from himself. He finds the end zone. 17-17 tie ball game. Now with just 2 minutes left, this time on the ground, Strickland, a 9-yard touchdown run, puts SU up 24-17 heading into the break. But now just at the opening of the third quarter, Mo Neal, 71 yards. He takes it, finding the gap. Wouldn't score though, would get tackled, but put SU in great position. Eric Dungey would score on the drive, a 1-yard touchdown, and SU wins 41-17. Heads into Death Valley next weekend for a matchup with LSU. And Syracuse moves 2-1 with that game. And in other football news, Jacksonville is now Syracuse South. The Jags signed former Syracuse quarterback Ryan Nassib today. Nassib last played for the Orange from 2008 to 2012. The move reunites Nassib with former head coach Doug Marrone. And last year, Jacksonville also signed Syracuse wideout Amba Edetawo as an undrafted free agent. And former SU player and coach Tom Coughlin is Jacksonville's vice president of football operations. So it looks like Jacksonville is starting to bleed orange. And moving from one football to another, head coach Ian McIntyre has accomplished a lot in his 8 years as SU soccer coach, ACC Coach of the Year, a Final Four, and he's developed players into MLS stars. One thing he has never done is he has never beaten Louisville. Could he get it done at home last Friday night? Little pregame huddle from SU, but we'll skip ahead to 10 minutes, and John Austin Ricks finds the back of the net on the header. SU on top of 1-0 after 10 minutes. We'll skip ahead now, 20 minutes. Louisville with a corner of its own, and Cody Cochran finds the back of the net. Top cheddar for him. Ties the game at 1-1, 30 minutes in. SU now with a chance to go ahead 2-1. Hugo Delamel with the free kick, and it is saved by Louisville. Final score of the game, 2-1. Louisville put down the Orange. SU not able to get that first win against Louisville for Coach Mack. And on the turf, SU needed more than 2 games for the ACC record for consecutive shutouts, but the Orange couldn't get it done at home on Saturday. Wake Forest marched into J.S. Coyne Stadium and stunned SU, beating Ange Bradley's squad 2-1. And with a game against Rutgers on Sunday, SU was in danger of dropping 2 in a row for the first time since 2014. But Rose Wares and company made sure that did not happen. The junior finished with a goal, and freshman goalie Borg Vanderbilt saved 4 shots to shut out the Scarlet Knights 4-0. And in the city, the Yankees opened a home series against the Twins. The Bombers currently lead Minnesota by 4 games for the top wildcard spot. And this series could be a preview of the American League play-in game in just 3 weeks. And the Mets hit the road to face the Marlins. This is Miami's first game home since Hurricane Irma. And yesterday was a tough day to be a New York football fan. The Bills couldn't get anything going against the Panthers as Buffalo fell 9-3, and the Jets were shelled by the Raiders. Oakland routed New York for 45 points as the Jets fall to 0-2 this season. Things are back to normal in the AFC East with the Bills and Jets at the bottom of the standings. And in the Monday night game, we have the New York Giants against the Detroit Lions. New York looks to rebound after last week's tough loss to Dallas 19-3. Not a good showing from the Giants.
Well, Matt, like you said, the Syracuse football team had a huge win this week against Central Michigan. How do you think that improves their bowl chances?
I think it greatly improves their bowl chances. After that first loss to Middle Tennessee State, things looked pretty gloomy here on the Hill. Looked like they would need to win a lot of games. Central Michigan is always a tough opponent, so that's a key win. And they have a few more opportunities at home against lesser teams in the ACC that they should fare well against.
All right, and what about my hometown Giants tonight? Can they get it done versus the Lions?
I think they will with that defense. I think last week was a fluke. Now, with a much improved wideout with Odell Beckham back, I think it should be a win for the Giants.
All right, thanks, Matt. We'll be right back.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
And Jess, will these summer-like temperatures continue for the rest of the week?
They will. Highs in the 80s should be great to go outside. You know, sit on the quad for a little while should be great.
That's what I like to hear.
When do you think rain's coming back?
I think next week, early on in the week. We should see a little bit of rain, cooler temperatures.
All right, thanks, Jess. That's all for Citrus TV News live at 6. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at CitrusTV for these stories and more. I'm Mike Riccardi.
And I'm Gilat Melamed. Stay tuned for Talking Points at 7:30 for all your political news and more. Have a great evening, Syracuse.